Hey y'all, so normally I do this on Tuesdays, but I feel like since the last video, there's been like this wave of anxiousness and it's hard to explain. Like there's a pull, my throat is just like, say it. I just feel like I hear God telling me that I have to get this over with and surrender because I feel like I've hit such a highlight of something that I need to work on. It's kind of like one of those things where you've been through something and you push it to the side because you don't think of it as a problem. You're like, been there, done that, I'm over it, whatever. It's not going to bother me anymore. But like secretly, it still bothers you and it still affects you. Um, so this is not an easy thing. And I did talk to my husband yesterday a lot about it. Yes, this is the same guy I've been with since high school. But you guys, like, just know that the same time that this story happens is the same time I'm still dealing with everything at home as far as my stepdad and everything. And I'm actually had a couple of memories come up from like 9th and 10th grade. So I used to be in choir. I was in choir 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And in 9th grade, I think I was like one of the top choir students in the beginner choir level. I knew how to read music, which only like 2 or 3 of us did. So we were tasked to be like the leaders of the class and teach everybody else how to read music, which was wild. And something that really stood out to me is, after that year, I didn't do choir 10th grade on, and I haven't sung anywhere else. And like, I just let it go. And one of the reasons is because our high school went from 3 elective courses down to 2. So we were kind of like forced to pick. And I picked JROTC, and then I think I had to do PE. 10th grade year, it was a requirement. But something that kind of like really affected my decision in that was our beginner choir class and the choir in the high school period was invited to do candlelight at Disney. So it's a winter concert where different high schools around Central Florida got to go to Disney and sing together as one massive choir, and it was Christmas carols. But it wasn't like your typical like jingle bells and everything. It was like Christmas carols. And we had a whole packet that we were supposed to memorize, but because of everything that was going off at home, I didn't, this makes me so frustrated. I didn't have the opportunity or the chance to get all the songs learned at the time I was supposed to. And I think for me, it was such a letdown because our teacher hand selected people out of our class. So it was me and like 5, 6 other people in the entire class that got hand selected to do this. And I couldn't do it. And I feel like I let her down. And I see this now where like, if there's something where I feel like I'm failing or letting somebody down, then I just feel like I'm not good enough for that situation. And then I just walk away from it. I've actually done this recently. But yeah, so on top of this story, like all of that was still going on. I can't get 11th and 12th grade year in chronological order still. But I know events happened. So just for reference, Leo and I have not been together the entire time. We actually broke up 3 times in high school. I can't remember what the first one was for. I think it was just like maturity levels changing, whatever, but it lasted for like a day. The second one was the one I think that like messed me up the most. And I told him this is gonna be really hard and I don't want to do this, but I know I have to do it. So throughout like I think 11th grade year, and I love Leo so much, but Leo kind of had this checklist, I guess, going with the guys of how many people that they can get with and be intimate with or whatever. It was just high school. That's the high school we grew up in. And one night I was working and I knew that like Leo was getting too close to other girls. I know this because I told him to his face. And girls used to hang on him during lunchtime. And I told him this is uncomfortable. Like, this isn't right. Like, these girls are just hanging on you and that's not right. Like, I'm the one going out with you. What in the world? So one night I was working, and I'm a vibrator, you guys. Like, you don't have to tell me something's wrong, and I know something's wrong. And most of the time I can guess what's wrong. And I really hate this because it means that a lot of the times I'm actually right about the way things are going to turn out, or like, just I can look at your face and know what's up. And it happens today too. And I tell my kids, oh, I hate being right all the time. And then my kids are like, but why? It's so cool. I'm like, because it's annoying. But Leo came to my work while I was working, and you could tell something's up. And he said, like, I was on shift, bro. And he said, hey, I need to talk to you. And like, I kind of knew. And I'm also not only like a vibrator, but I'm a huge empath. So whatever you're feeling, I'm feeling, and I could feel the nerves. So I started to feel the nerves. And he looked like he was about to cry. And I was like, you cheated on me, right? He goes, yeah. And I know who he cheated with. And it was such like a shock. It was shocking. Like, this is why I titled this episode Shaken, because that foundation you think you have is like false. It's not real. It's crumbling. Like, so we did break up then. And when I got home, like on the way home, I told my mom because she picked me up from work. And then my stepdad held a fire burning pit thing with all of like the t-shirts or whatever that Leo had given me. And I don't know. Then, of course, I go to school with him and I have lunch with him and we have the same friends. And so I didn't stop seeing him. And I asked him, like, what did you do? What did you do? And I think it was kind of every time that I saw him, it was like my best friend, the person I trusted. The reason why I was so afraid to say yes in the beginning actually was crumbling 10 times worse than I think I could have imagined. And everybody around us kind of like hyped into it, like, oh, he had sex with this girl and he did this. And like, I just turned my blinders on because I couldn't do it. And it's so dumb because I think we got back together like a couple of days later, but it took a long time to rebuild trust and communication. And I know it's stupid because we're in high school, but this is why, like, there's no freaking way possible that we should be together. There's no way possible. And I think what made it worse is that it didn't stop with high school. It didn't stop 11th grade year. You think that this would be like everybody's going to talk about it for a week or a month or whatever, and it's going to be over with. This dragged. I still heard about this stuff from other people. I think the last time I heard about it, I had already had Anna. I had already had my daughter, and she was 1. My oldest daughter was 1, and I was still hearing about this. And it made it hard. And I had asked Leo to stop talking to her, and he didn't. I think either my schedule got changed or first semester ended and I was taking a different class second semester. And my lunch got changed because I used to be in like second lunch and moved to first lunch, or first lunch and moved to second lunch. So I had lunch at the same time as him. And when I found him in the cafeteria, he was eating lunch with her. And he was still texting her. And Leo did something called the Split Up program, where you can do basic training for the military between junior and senior year of high school. And when we got back senior year of high school, I actually had one class with the girl that he cheated on me with. And she had letters that he had written to her during basic training while we were together. And she displayed them in the front of her like clear pocket binder and left it everywhere where everybody can see it. And like, how do you rebuild trust with somebody who doesn't stop? With people who don't stop? And I don't know, I just felt broken. And even today, like I thought it would be something that wouldn't bother me anymore. But it does. It does. And here's why. Because I put my blinders on to everything that everybody was saying. And like, it doesn't matter. I'm with him. It doesn't matter. I'm in a relationship with him. It doesn't matter. But knowing Leo's story now, and there's a huge story that he has that he's barely told anybody. And I really do hope that one day he does tell people, because it's massive and it connects a lot of dots. But that's not my story. But knowing his story and everything that everybody said and the way he acted, do I believe in my soul that he literally was intimate with somebody else? Yes. And it hurts to say that because he told me like I was the only person that he'd ever had intercourse with. I was the only person. But I don't know if it's just me and my insecurity or whatever, but I feel like, especially lately, I have had a revelation that I'm not the only person he's been intimate with. And I feel like in high school, I feel like that would have been the straw that like broke me. And now I don't feel like it breaks me in our relationship, but I don't know where I stand. And I think that's where it is. I feel guilty for feeling like it's true. But like, I don't feel shaken. I feel dumb. But like at the same time, we have a great life and we have 3 awesome kids. Like, they're the coolest kids ever. And Leo as a person, I have never, like, maybe my kids, because I've known them since they were in my uterus growing, but I've never seen so much growth in a person that I have seen in Leo. And it's amazing and it's awesome. And he's done more things for me than I think anybody ever knows. And that was the big, oh crap. That was the big one. And that probably started the wheels of what happened senior year of high school. So we did break up senior year of high school, but again, growing pains, you guys, we're trying to figure out our futures and what we're doing after school. And like, he's like, I'm going to the military, and he still kind of had an ego. And I'm just like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. I just need to leave. I took the ASVAB. I almost signed up for the military, but I chickened out because I was a coward and I didn't want to deploy. But high school was horrible. Like, having to go in when school is supposed to be your sanctuary away from the chaos of home, to deal with the people who constantly are talking about the situation that happened and constantly bring it up and constantly fuel the ego. Like, it's hard. It's really hard. So I know that during senior year, something happened. I don't know. But our school decided it was a great idea to play a suicide awareness video. And I was in Spanish class, and I just remember bawling. Like, bawling in the middle of class. And I've never cried in the middle of class like that before. So my teacher sent me to the office with one of my friends, and I started a counseling group pretty much for like suicide awareness, and I was in for suicidal ideation. And that was like, I know people knew that I was in a counseling group, but I don't think they know why I was in a counseling group. A lot of it had to do with the domestic stuff going on at home. And I think all of this stuff with Leo cheating added to the fire. Like, it fueled the fire. And I think I was just coasting and getting by. And I was done. Like, I was done, you guys. And like I said, I'm okay now. It just, like, seeing myself as a kid and knowing my oldest daughter is 15 now, it makes me so, like, upset ashamed, embarrassed. Like, I wish there was a me to take care of me. I wish there were people who saw it, because by senior year, I don't think I had words anymore. I couldn't communicate clearly with anybody. I couldn't say anything with anybody. And like, all I think I really did was just sat and stayed quiet. Because I didn't have words. I didn't care. I just wanted to be out, you know, like, I'm done, I'm out, I'm done. Halfway through senior year of high school, I don't even know what to call it, the destruction of, like, my mental state and emotional state, the yelling, the everything, I couldn't do it anymore. So I moved out of my house. First it started with my sister. She left and moved in with her godfather. And the night she left, I went with her, because, like, you want to take care of your younger siblings. And I didn't go back. I didn't stay with her godfather. I actually moved into Leo's house with his mom. And I didn't go back, but I turned around. Like, I didn't realize how much of a change of environment would change my thought process and change how I felt. It wasn't all rainbows and glitter and unicorns with Leo either. There was a time where we got into a fight, and I was still in drill team in senior year of high school. We had gotten into an argument about something, and we had drill team after school. We had drill team practice after school. And we went, and I was there for attendance for the team. And when they went out to practice, I stayed behind. And then I just walked home, because, like, back to his mom's house, because I was mad. I wasn't in the mindset to be at practice. And I walked home, and Leo never came home. He was at his friend's house for a week, and his mom had asked him, you know, what's your plan? Because she's here. What's your plan? And I think at that time, too, is when I found out that he was still texting the girl that he cheated on me with, that I broke his phone, because I was super just, like, everywhere. But he came back, and I think, like, starting then is when we really had to learn communication. And this is something that we're constantly working on, is communication. Like, I haven't told him, like, half this stuff. So it's definitely something that you never stop working on, is how to communicate with your partner, your significant other. But you guys, we worked it out. Wound up graduating high school. Yay. Working, I was still working. And that was high school. I'm so serious. I would never go back to high school. You could not pay me to go back to high school. Never want to go again. I don't really talk to a lot of people from high school. Like, we meet up with a couple people from high school, and yeah, like, the whole situation does come up. But it's kind of like old. Like, oh, I can't believe you guys are still together. You remember what happened? Like, bro, but we are. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? But I honest to goodness think that God threw me through that season for something. And I really do honestly believe that there's no way that we should be together. But, like, this has to be God's plan, because there's no other explanation. And like I said, I do love my husband, and I have a great life, and I know, like, a lot of it is due to him. He's actually the one who was with me when my mom died. And he was with me to get me to go back to church last year when I needed it the most. And he's still my best friend. Like, he really is my best friend. I can't think of anybody else I tell half the stuff I tell to. Even when he's not here, it's like, oh, I miss him. But that was high school. And I hope you guys don't feel bad for me at all. Like, I'm past it. This is just my way of, like, surrendering it, because I didn't know how much insecurity it still brought me. And even still, like, this is going to come up again. Like, there are still moments where I get really insecure, especially when I was younger. I would get really insecure, but I'm good right now. I'm good right now. I just wish I had someone like me to be with young me. I wish I could have gone to the past and told my younger self that everything would be okay. But that's high school. Next week we're gonna come out with after high school because it's a ride. And I know the story's not over, and I know that God is still working in ways that I don't see yet. So just stay tuned for more of the story next week. Talk to you guys later.